Hello and welcome back to another Fuel Motivation video. Today we have David Goggins speaking on what it takes to be great in 2022 and beyond. Enjoy the video.
When you grow up weak and you start to master your mind, because my whole thing is whenever I'm weak at something, or whenever I'm scared of something, I master it. I was a weak-minded person, so I mastered my mind. And in mastering my mind, I mastered the human mind. And I realized why I no longer judge people, why I no longer put people on a pedestal, because we're all fucked up in our own way. We all have demons. Some people hide them better than other people. So I know we all have them. By me knowing that, I know that most alpha males are very fragile. Very fragile. They never want to see another person harder than them, especially in that kind of realm.
The ego attachment.
The ego,
very strong.
Ego will fuck you up every time. Ego is serious. So if I can hurt your ego, I got you. So by me having such a fragile ego growing up, all this was my advantage. I was doing a live autopsy on how fucked up I was. I was like, hey, this fucks me up. I bet it fucks other people up too. So I started using all these different tools and tactics to get in instructors' heads. And the taking souls, that's where it happened, man. We're Wednesday, freezing fucking cold. Everybody's jackhammering. Everybody wants to, everybody's just wanting to get through it now. And the instructors take great pride in watching you suffer. They do. We, in a sick way, it's kind of funny. You were there once as a student. Now you're an instructor. But I knew, how would I be thinking if I was an instructor? I would love seeing this sadistic shit go on. But what wouldn't I like to see? I would hate to see some guys just looking like this is just another fucking day on the fucking beach and go fuck yourself. You guys can fuck me up all day long. That's your job, and I love your job. I love what you guys are doing. You guys are making us better. But now I'm going to take the tactical advantage, and I'm going to start fucking with you. So I got my boat crew, Bill Brown. I had Chris Kyle on my boat crew, right. American Sniper. I had a couple of hardcore motherfuckers. And everybody right now is kind of like in their own world. Let's just get through this, man. I can't wait till Friday so we can graduate, how we can get going. I said, let's go ahead and have some fun. I said, we're gonna start fucking with these guys. So the evolution here was we just got through with med check. We're stripped down to nothing, and they're checking us out, making sure we're good. Checking for pneumonia, checking for fucked up knees. My knees all jacked up, but they're giving me shots and shit. And I was like the boat crew leader of boat crew 2. Mm-hmm. So I'm in the front of the boat, and I tell our guys, this is what we're gonna do. The boat was like on our heads. So all it was, we're supposed to lift the boats up above our head. That's all you gotta do. But when you're this weak, you're this fragile, you're this tired, the boat's heavy. So there's a thing you can do when you do boat presses. You can get the boat and like just toss it up and catch it. And that shows like you're jacked up. So everybody's holding the boat and they're shaking and the boat's starting to come down their head and all the boat crews are all lined up and they're fucked up. And I'm looking at that and I turn around my boat crew and say, hey guys, it's time to fucking take some souls. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? I said, we're gonna get you. I go, you see all these fucking instructors out here, all in their fucking jackets and drinking coffee and laughing and smiling and shit? I want their fucking faces to go straight up fucking numb. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna start boat pressing this motherfucker. Just take my lead, trust me, you'll get energy from it. We start throwing this boat up in the fucking air, catching it, throwing it up and catching it. We start yelling, can't hurt fucking boat crew 2. We're yelling our fucking ass off, and we're doing it. And they make us stop, like what the fuck, like stop. I look at these instructors, and their faces literally look like someone just took their soul out. 'Cause I know where their minds were. Like they were thinking about themselves. Like, what the fuck just happened, man? I know me on Wednesday, I couldn't have done that. How are they doing it? So the rest of the time, going through Hell Week, it was like we owned it. We owned it.
Right.
Boat Crew 2, we won every single race. We were just dominating. And it was a strong boat crew, and that's where Taking Souls is, there's a few Taking Soul stories, but that's one of them. Fueling off the fact that, man, it takes 1 second of energy to steal everybody's, and then you have all the energy you need. That's all you need. You need to look at someone's eyes. You know how it is when you fight somebody and you broke that motherfucker. He's like, oh God, man, I don't want to go back to the next round. And you feel like, my God, I can fight all day. I can fight all day long. That's what Taking Souls is. But you have to have the will, the heart, the courage to go that distance when you're exactly jacked up, you have nothing left to give, and give more. I learned how to control my adrenals. If you know how you get that fight or flight response when you get to move real quick,
yeah,
And, I started learning the mind a lot, how to get myself jacked extremely fast, like in a horrible environment when everybody's miserable. I learned how to really find strength in the misery. When everybody's suffering, everybody's all poopy pants and their mentality's down and everything, I started just like, my God, this is where I shine. And I started using all that misery for tons and tons of drive and motivation to then lead people further. Because you can get a lot of power through misery. And once people see that, my God, Goggins is fucking going, then everybody says, Roger that. Let me get my shit and go too.
But if you only know how to behave, you're just a domesticated house cat or a lap dog. Yeah. You have to push beyond the persona, and that's what the integration of the shadow does from the Jungian perspective. It's like to pull that monster that's been edited out of you, to pull that back in and to allow that to reveal itself within your increasingly sophisticated way of being. And then you're not just a persona. Because the thing is, you can't escape from your persona unless you can say no. Like, here's an example from popular culture. In the Harry Potter series, Harry Potter's obviously the hero of the story, but he's touched by malevolence, right? The only reason he can stand up against evil is because there's some evil in him that he's incorporated, essentially. Well, and that's exactly right. And that the persona, if you're a persona, then you're an obedient citizen. But the problem with being an obedient citizen is that if the society tells you to march the Jews off to the death camp, for example, and you're obedient, then that's what you'll do. And it isn't like society is civilized and then all of a sudden you're performing some act of atrocity. That isn't how it works. It's like you're obedient citizen and then you're asked to violate your conscience a little bit.
Yeah.
And you have to, because you don't have anything other than that persona. And that's obedience. And so a little more obedience is demanded, and you say, okay, well, and then you're a little bent, because the society is becoming a little bent, and then you're a little weaker. Then you're asked to violate your conscience a little bit more, and you think, well, there's a little less of me, and the pressure's on a little more, and I could have said no before, but I didn't, so you say yes again. Then you say yes again, and then you have a society where 1/3 of the population is informing on the other 2/3. Yeah. It's hell. It's like, well, so how do you say no? Well, that's the shadow. It's like, and the reason that the video I did about Bill C-16 and its compelled speech provisions went viral was because I said no. I didn't say it casually. What I meant was, there isn't anything that you can do to me that I can imagine that will force me to utter the words that you want me to utter.